All right, new Thursday, it's a new video, and sometimes things happen and you don't question them. Hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad, I'm an airline pilot, I'm a husband to a scientist, and I'm headed to the airport to fly to Rome. It's currently 12:37 p.m. We leave at 2:45 p.m. I was officially notified of the trip at 11 a.m. I'm on short call reserve, and my reserve starts at 11 a.m. on the first day of reserve. What is interesting is this trip originally was an IOE trip, meaning it was some pilots' initial training on the aircraft, right? And when you're initial on the aircraft on a wide body, they need an extra pilot on board. When I got assigned the trip, I was for the second relief pilot who had called in sick, but there was still a check airman and a new captain on the trip. It made sense to me. It is what it is. Let's do this. Typically, when you're a relief pilot for these kind of trips, they are pretty easy because the check airman normally wants extra time up front to teach the new pilot, so you get more of a break time. Anyways, so I saw the trip on my schedule around 9:30 this morning because I just saw it. It is what it is. But I wasn't notified officially till 11 o'clock. Well, right around 10:30, my wife and I went to Costco, and I get notified of any open trip in my status. And I got notified of an FO trip for my Rome trip. I'm like, why is the FO open if it was a check airman trip? It should not be FO open, right? Well, the original FO, the original pilot being trained was a captain from Miami. Today, Hurricane Milton hit Florida, right? I can only surmise that that captain from Miami could have lived in the hurricane zone, needed to go home, or maybe he couldn't commute in time. But for whatever reason, both him and the check airman were removed. Or maybe the check airman got removed and they couldn't put a new check airman on it, so they had to remove the student. That doesn't matter. What does matter is a normal Rome trip from Dallas only requires 3 pilots, right? There's 4. Now, I thought when they removed the FO, they would just do the logical thing and move the first relief pilot to first officer and move me to the relief pilot position, get a reserve captain, 3 pilots, and we're good to go. Because I've done Rome before on a 3-pilot crew. No. Instead, they got 2 more reserve pilots. They got a reserve captain and a reserve FO. So I am still the second relief pilot for this Rome trip. And I'm like, all right. So I put the flight times on the screen. I'm guessing we're each going to have over a 4-hour break each way. It's something we'll see. We could do 2 long breaks, 2 medium breaks, and then 2 short breaks per set of pilots, or we just cut it in half, half and half. The captain and FO, they fly 4 hours. Then me and the relief pilot fly 4 hours, and then the captain and FO come up for landing. That I like to do that way. We'll have to see. On the return flight, it is almost 12 hours long. So that one we could do medium, medium, short, short. We'll have to see how they do it. But pretty easy trip. Now, this is my 3rd trip of the month. Again, it is October 11th, I think. Let's see. It is the 10th, October 10th. Probably my 3rd trip of the month. This is my 3rd time. Sorry, this is my 3rd trip to Europe in a week. So I posted already about my trip to London when I had a shave. Then I took a day off and I picked up an overtime trip to London on Sunday. And I got back on Tuesday. I was on reserve yesterday, which is Wednesday. Today's Thursday. And I'm on sole reserve and I got this trip to Rome. So it's a whole lot of flying suddenly. I don't mind it. But after having 3 weeks of doing nothing, here I am flying to Europe 3 times in 1 week. 6 crossings in a week and 2 days or so. So that's interesting. But yeah, looking forward to going to Rome, not London. I did look at the weather. It's supposed to be 70 degrees, sunny. So I left my other jacket at home. I do have to wear a blazer year round for my airline's rules as a wide body pilot. But let's go to Rome. All right, pre-brief is done. I just realized this is my first 777-200 trip, and since August. It's been a while. I've had nothing but 300s because I've had nothing but London, right? For the last couple of flights. So not flying it, but 777-200. All right, let's go.
So again, between the 200 and the 300, the differences are, of course, size, but also the crew rest area. On the 200, it's not my favorite. They're bunk beds on the side of the airplane near the flight deck. Anyways, but the flight decks are very similar. I arrive first, and I'm in the FC, and my seat's folded up. I guess the guys who brought it in use the seat area as a storage for their luggage. I have no idea, but this is my seat for the trip. FC, I'm on the right side behind the FO. And on this seat, I cannot see very much as far as what the instruments are. The FB sits in the middle. They can see a lot more. Since I'm first, I go ahead and get the plane set up. I don't mind. Sit in the FO seat and just do my flows, getting all the planes set up so that when they walk on board, they can just get to work right away. This includes various tests, making sure the tire pressure is good, the oil pressure is good, the oxygen is good. Sorry, the oil quantity is good. But this is my seat, right? So when there's bodies sitting there, I can only see like the captain's instruments, and that's about it. Speaking of the captain, because we had a crew change last minute, the Gendex, the General Declaration, what we use for international travel, was wrong. So I had to bring it up to the gate agent and get a new Gendex, and it wasn't a big deal, but they had to print a new one for us before we could leave for Rome. As far as the flight over there, it's pretty standard. Blico 8 departure, Tulsa transition, out up to Butler. You can see the routing on the left-hand side. Over to Rome. Again, I took over just past Canada, and I got to deal with the French and Italian controllers who are very good, but they speak very fast with a heavy accent. I had to spell out every single fix when we got a new clearance or direct somewhere to make sure I was saying it correctly. Now, the arrivals into Rome are a bit complicated. And I find this for many places in Europe. They have so many different arrivals, a lot. And I think it's overly complex, but they're also kind of accurate, but it is what it is. We got the LCAP 3 Alpha arrival. And you see LCAP up there. That's where we entered the arrival. And then it kind of goes down, makes, you go downwind and to make a pattern, so to speak, to go inbound to Rome. The last fix is Subak at 200 knots. And Subak is used for both the 1-6 left and the 1-6 right approach. So one star one arrival route can be used for either runway. And so I'm going to show you 1-6 left. I'm going to zoom in to the Suvok intersection so they can say, at Suvok, join 1-6 left approach. And then also for 1-6 right, they have a Suvok intersection. So again, there's Suvok, IAF, initial approach fix. And this is harder than you think it is. And then 1-6 right, you can see Subak as well. You can join the path from either fix. So it works very well. As far as the airport goes, pretty standard. It's two main runways, 1-6 left, 1-6 right, and you have runway 25 that I think is primarily used for just departures. We were given 1-6 left initially, then changed to 1-6 right, which is better for us because 1-6 right has a shorter taxi to our gate. And again, after a long flight, right? I mean, we each had a long break, but it's still a long day. We were ready to get into the gate. And again, one of the most dangerous parts of flying is taxiing. So we take our time, and most captains will say out loud what they're doing. I'm turning left on Alpha. I'm turning right on Mike. I'm holding short to make sure we're all in agreement on what's happening. Now, as far as we got into the airport, and it's a nice airport, no air conditioning, and they need better like escalators. So they have one for an entire train of people. But anyways, of course, the Rome airport is nowhere near the city of Rome. Long drive there. I'm in the back, just trying to stay awake and focused to get to the hotel. And now it's time for my post-flight debrief.
I made it to the hotel. It is currently 10:24 local, 3:24 in the morning in Dallas. Flight was fine for the most part. It was a long flight. I'm trying to narrate this, but there's 4 pilots. There's normally a 3-pilot crew. I think last time I was here, it was a 3-pilot crew. And the captain decided to do half and half on breaks. So it works for me. I had about a 4-hour and 45-minute break, long break. I opted not to use the bunk on the 200. Instead, I went to the chair. Probably should have gone to the bunk. I didn't sleep. I did like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of my break. Because I wasn't really tired, right? It was, 3:30 in the afternoon, going to bed. Because I got this trip last minute, I couldn't do much prep as far as taking a nap beforehand, right? But again, it is what it is. We went up front right after they entered Oceanic, and so just passed out, Canada border, I guess, out on the ocean. And we're up front for the rest of the flight. we had some pretty good turbulence. They got to see some really good northern lights. We didn't see it by the time we were up there, but we got some pretty good turbulence for a while. Couldn't go any higher. There was some business jet down at 270 that was really getting rocked around a lot, and they actually got in trouble because they went up to 310 without a clearance, and they couldn't have their problems communicating because of the northern lights. But anyway, I had problems understanding the French and Italian controllers as normal. I had to spell out every fix because they talk so fast and heavy accent. It's what it is. Got here and walked off the airplane, and my bag broke. I'll show you some footage of it. But my hook broke. Yeah, and it's metal, some kind of metal alloy. So that'll be fun on the return trip. I have a backup system, but it's not ideal. Yeah, not happy about that. But now I'm gonna take a nap. Again, it's 10:26 now, and wake up at some point and go explore. The traffic here is horrendous, and the poor van driver driving this manual transmission van, he stalled it twice. Um, yeah, that wasn't fun. But second time here. Yeah, not much to say. All right, nap time.
After my nap, actually, I had a long, long nap. I got up and explored again a beautiful day in Rome. I'm using my DJI Osmo 3, and traffic is where it is. Again, at 72 degrees, clear skies. I could not ask for better weather. Absolutely amazing. And I'm a creature of habit, right? So I eat at the same places many times in foreign cities. And so every time I've been to Rome, this is my third time. I went once as a trip by myself one day. I came here for 24 hours. But second time, as a crew member anyway. And I ate the same little restaurant. It's a little hole in the wall, very narrow walkways and concourses, but amazing food and a very nice lady who makes all my sandwiches for me. I then headed out and explored. Sadly, the Fountain de Trevi is under construction, so couldn't get any selfies in front of it. There's a big wall there, no water in it. Is what it is. It's still a crowded area. And then I decided I was on a mission to find blue gelato. And now, if you're an Italian, this might be a cardinal sin or whatever, but I wanted blue gelato. So I kept walking around and looking at and finding gelato in Rome is not hard, especially in the tourist areas. You can just keep walking and you'll find someone eating ice cream and you turn left and you see where they got it from. But I walked a long way and down this path, past lots of gelato places, and I could not find blue gelato to save the life of me. Again, I don't like chocolate very much. I like strawberry lemon kind of thing, but I really wanted blue gelato, but I couldn't find it, so I gave up. And I wanted coffee. So hey, this is the best place in Rome to get coffee, as I'm told. So I went inside and I wanted to get some new coffee beans, just one bag, and then a cafe latte. So I stood in line to get my coffee beans, and then I ordered a cafe latte. It's a very busy place. It's very nice inside. And I'm tired. Remember, I'm still a little bit tired, right? I'm a little bit wacky. So when they put the coffee in front of me, I'm like, this does not look quite right. Lady to my left was giving me the evil eye. I'm like, wait, what, no, wait, this is not mine. No, I ordered a cafe latte, and so they say, oh yeah, you did order a cafe latte. Yeah. Um. So they actually gave it to the guy next to me, and I'm like, all right, there you go, and he makes me a cafe latte, right? Cool. Still kind of weird, right?
So that wasn't my espresso, but the guy drank it. I mean, I have no diseases, but I don't know if I take a drink after someone put their mouth to it. I thought it was a little bit small, but anyways, time to go find a place to sit down.
So I sat next to the Pantheon and enjoyed my cafe latte again. I've gotten luckier in Rome. It's been beautiful every time I've been here. Last time it was hot. This time it's 72 degrees. Crazy long line. Did not go inside. I appreciate it for what it is. Then I went back on my hunt for blue gelato. Again, just walking around randomly, looking at my map, finding gelato places, and I gave up and I just got strawberry and lemon gelato because I wanted gelato and I was tired of walking. And I went to this Grom place. There's probably better gelato places to go to. I admit this looks very chain-ish versus local-ish. I apologize. Gelato in hand, I went and sat down in the square nearby, ate my gelato, and then I went walking more. Again, I like to walk, and I decided to walk to the Spanish Steps again because it's a tourist attraction, and I'm in Rome, right? So why not go to the Spanish Steps? And it was around 5:30 in the evening, so like it has the beautiful golden hour for pictures and everything. Long walk there, but again, I had gelato, so I need to burn it off. One thing I've gotten used to as an airline pilot is traveling by myself. Now, true crews do go out together every now and then. I just like going by myself. I don't like waiting on people. I don't like making arrangements and saying, "Okay, we'll meet at 6 o'clock," and then here I am wake at 4 o'clock, waiting for 2 hours to go meet them at 6. I just want to do my own thing, so I explore by myself. Again, very busy area. Last time I was here, people were drinking out of this fountain because it was hot. See that on the right hand side where the spout is. People were putting their water bottle there, and I put my water bottle there. Apparently, it is potable water. It's very ice cold, and for whatever reason, my body did not agree with this water at all, and I got a really bad sore throat. It happened again on this trip when I had a fountain drink. So there's something in the local water that my body does not like. I'm sure it's safe, but I do have allergies. But very busy area. Then I decided, you know what? I need to get my some steps in.
Against my better judgment, I'm going to climb the steps because I had gelato. I don't want to climb the steps, but I will.
But I'm glad I climbed them. Again, golden hour. My background is in photography, journalism, so I appreciate the lighting. Appreciate the view from this first little vantage point that went higher to the second vantage point, and again, it's a very beautiful view of Rome. And once I was done, I'm like, okay, it's getting late in the evening. I'm not hungry, but I want something to drink, so I went to McDonald's to get a Coke Zero. Again, I had to go back down the steps again, and all the way down here to a very fancy McDonald's. It had no air conditioning, but it was very pretty artistically. My bad Spanish came in handy because I could understand when the lady said 420 in Italian. It is somehow similar to Spanish, or maybe I'm just tired, but Coke Zero in hand, back to the hotel for my evening debrief, and it's almost time to go back to bed.
All right, this is a magnetic microphone. So if you can't see the microphone, but you can see the magnet. Anyways, uh, good times walking around Rome. Did about 3.5 miles. Not a whole lot, not very little. Got my steps in anyway. Had a good lunch and then walked around some tourist areas. Trevi, of course, was closed. But I had good times walking around. So I haven't been to the Vatican City yet in Rome. It's not my thing really, but one day I'll actually get there. It is currently 7:07 p.m., 12:07 p.m. in Dallas, and almost bedtime. Didn't do a whole lot today. I did a lot of sleeping. I was just tired. Slept quite a bit after the flight. Like a 2 hour nap. Woke up. I'm like, I need more than an hour and a half nap. But I'm going to shower and slowly pack up. I do need to work on my bids for next month. It is the 11th. They close on the 13th. I get back tomorrow afternoon. I'll be exhausted. So I should work on them a little bit here. Then I'll touch them again tomorrow evening, and then hopefully, sorry, I'm off on Sunday morning. So Sunday, I will for surely touch my bids one more time to make sure they are what I want. But yeah, didn't have a lot to eat because again, the whole semaglutide thing. Yeah, bummed about my suitcase. I gotta figure out. It's gonna be a crappy tomorrow. Walking around with a bum hook, but it is what it is. So much for buying the best suitcase there is, right? All right. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll have something in the morning before the video continues. Good morning. It is currently 6:39 in Rome, 11:39 p.m. in Dallas. I thought I'd go downstairs and get an early breakfast before van time, but breakfast doesn't start until 7 o'clock. So, back in the room, I'm going to finish packing up the room, and then I guess I'll go down at 7 and have breakfast, and then just stay down there, I guess, until van time, shortly after breakfast starts. Good night to rest. I went to bed around 8 o'clock local, 8:30 local time, I think. Yeah, I called my wife around then. So 8:30 Dallas time was, let's see what time did I call her? It was at 8:19 last night, so 8:30 local time. Good night's rest. I have been up since about 5 in the morning here, so which was 10 p.m. in Dallas. I did call my wife, FaceTime her, because she was at the high school picking up our oldest kid after a football game with my youngest kid back asleep. And then she should be back at the high school at 7 in the morning. So short overnight for them as well. But I'm going to, of course, be awake from now until I get home. Well, I'll sleep on the airplane, but I'll be functioning and I'll be in these clothes until at least I guess 4 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. Like 1:50, about 3 in the afternoon. One thing I do, and I'm sure many crew members do this, that the moment I get home, I take off my uniform. Like, if my family sees me coming in the back door, I'll say hi to them. Otherwise, it's straight to the bedroom and I take off all these clothes because I'm done. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna have don't have my Fairlife because it was on sale at Costco. So I have this Nuri protein shake for breakfast, and then I have my Red Bull for in flight after my break. As the relief pilot, I'm glad there's two of us. We go on break first, so I'll have no coffee this morning. I'm just gonna have breakfast, and then we get to the airplane, we take off, and then we go on break pretty quickly. It's 11 hours and 55-minute block time back to Dallas, so almost 12 hours. So we should have over 5 hours each. I'm not sure if we're gonna do two long breaks or medium, short, or medium, short, short, medium. I don't know. We'll see. But that's Rome. I'm off on Sunday. I have a 30-hour break, 7-day conflict. And then I'm on again on Monday, just for 3 days. Then I'm off for 2 days. So I'm kind of hoping I don't get used on Monday, but we'll see. All right, the video continues.
I love the sign here. 6 Europeans or 1 American. Just kidding. It's probably from the COVID era. But early bird gets the worm. I'm the first person in the hotel van, so I get to pick my seat. Again, it's a nice van. There's a lot of us on this trip. And then on the way to the airport, we hit a lot of traffic. And we passed the 16th chapel and this crazy long line for people to get into the 16th chapel. Like, it's super early in the morning. They're going to be in line for hours in order to get in. Again, I appreciate history, but I also appreciate YouTube and the tours I can watch on YouTube without having to wait in line. As far as the security at the Rome airport, very straightforward. They do have a dedicated crew line for us, and I did sacrifice a pair of glasses. They said my glasses went off in the metal detector. I took them out, and I have not seen them since. So RIP my glasses. Don't worry, I ordered 3 more pair. Why? Exactly. Down the escalator I went, and so again, we have a 4-man crew, normally a 3-person crew. And so when I got to the airplane, I had to go back up to the terminal again to let them know, hey, we need one more extra business class seat blocked for us due to our contract and crew rest facilities mostly. We need a bed and then somewhere else to sit if we don't want to sleep. So on this plane on 200, we had to use 2 business class seats. Um, Side note, I love seeing airlines I never see anywhere else. Like Iran Air, you just saw. Then I'm seeing this 787 out here. Like Neos Airlines, never heard of it before. But it's kind of neat when you travel international and see airlines you never heard of. Uh, Nice departure out of Rome. And they primarily use runway 25 for departure, and that goes out toward the water, but it is a little bit shorter than runway 16 right. So we use runway 16 right for departures. It's a little bit of a hassle because they are launching off 25 pretty steadily, so they have a little bit of a delay. But today we're leaving from spot 708, and the spot numbers don't always agree with the gate numbers, but we use spot numbers most of the time. We talk to ATC, but for leaving here, we're just going to push back onto Mike and then go up to hotel, over to Alpha, hold short runway 725, and then cross it and go over to 16 right for the departure. And again, this runway is nice and long. It's about 12,800 feet long, which is plenty of runway distance. And we are very heavy because we have a much longer route than normal due to the winds and the routing. We're going way up north over Germany and then like even over Greenland before heading to the west. Not normal, back to where we came, so to speak. Now, as far as leaving the airport, they have a lot of departures and they are named differently than they are in the United States. In the US, they have a name and an endpoint. Here, the endpoint is the name. So we were assigned the SOSIV 7 Bravo departure. So we have to look down and find the SOSIV 7 Bravo, for runway 16 right. Again, there are so many departures, and it's a different naming procedure. And again, it is what it is. It's their land, their airspace. So I had to dig through all the departures to find the right one. And then you can see here, it is indeed the SOSIV 7 Bravo departure for runway 16 right. It's an RNAV. And again, the initial climb is important. You'll see here in a second. But lots of notes on this departure. We study all of them. Make sure it's the right one. The transition altitude is 6,000 feet versus in the US, it's 18,000 feet. And of course, the departure frequency is 130.9. Now, leaving runway 16 right, that first fix, the RF601, I find it funny, is a max speed of 220 knots. We couldn't be going that fast even if we wanted to, maybe from a smaller jet, and above 620 feet. But for our departure and the SOVAN 7 Alpha, you make a hard right turn after that fix. The other departures for this same procedure go straight to RF 603, but we make a right turn to RF 812, then we go up to SOSIV. But we're not done there, right? Because we're going to the SOVAN 7 Alpha as well. Two SIDS. It's very different than the United States. Once we get to SOSIV, that's above 11,000 feet, then up to ADUPA, and then up to SOVAN. And that completes the departure from the Rome airport. Again, it's very different than the United States. Now, once we left there, we went straight up north versus going west like we normally would because of some turbulence. You'll see that in a second. But went over Switzerland and then Germany. And actually, I was in the back sleeping by this point. But they navigated way far north before turning to the west. And this was all to avoid turbulence. Now, they went, well, I guess we all did, very high north. We went over Greenland and Iceland. And I took over just around the 6150 north mark. And then I was up front all the way up until the F and W. Now, looking at the weather, this part of our planning, right? We can see how far north we went. All that yellow you saw there was turbulence that we wanted to avoid. This did add some flight time. We had to fly faster. Thankfully, we had favorable winds. That also comes into play, and that helped us actually arrive early. We had planned to arrive 20 minutes late, but due to some favorable winds and flying a little bit faster, we were able to arrive on time into DFNW. But the best we always try to avoid turbulence and bad weather. Sometimes we can't avoid it, but this time we could. And then one more quick view of my seat, as an FC. This is what I can see from my seat. Not a whole lot, but I went in the back, took a long nap. Then I watched some episodes of The Office. Again, getting paid to watch TV. Pretty nice. It's a very relaxing flight. I ran out of things to do with a 5.5 hour break almost. But eventually they came back up front. They made a great landing on 18 right, pulled into the gate and cleared customs, and I was done. And now for the final debrief of the trip.
Okay, back from Rome. Let's go home and talk about it. So the ride to the airport was fine. Less traffic on a Saturday morning. We got there early. Security in Rome, they have a dedicated crew entrance for anyone that's crew. So that was nice. Like every airline goes through it. A little weird, but fine. And then we get taken by bus to the airplane, so we don't actually walk through the terminal. Unlike when we arrive, we walk through the terminal of customs. When we leave, we just get on a bus and they get straight dropped off right almost next to the airplane. We still have to go in the terminal, but we're in the actual terminal, not the, I don't know. Anyway, it's different. It's easier. But we were early, and I don't go to Rome that often, so I figured, hey, you know what? The flight attendant, I trust flight attendants, first of all, and I always follow them to all the airport because they know where they're going. And a few of them were going to go buy olive oil. I'm like, olive oil? I don't cook a lot, but I don't go to Rome a lot. So I followed them into the duty-free area, and they said the olive oil they normally buy wasn't there, but this was still a pretty good one. So I bought, because one they normally buy, you can like drink it, apparently, it's really good. So I bought this other kind, they said that's also very good. Then I bought some spice. They said this is amazing spice. I don't know what the heck spice it was, but I bought this amazing spice, right? And then I bought some lemon candy for my wife and some chocolate Kinder something for my kids. It's not the Kinder eggs. It's some other Kinder something. Anyways. So anyway, it's all in this duty-free bag, right? But here's the funny thing, right? So I'm in the line for duty-free because the self-checkouts I couldn't use because you needed a boarding pass. Well, so I'm in line, and the flight attendant on my crew is ahead of me. And she has the Gendex, which I probably already explained what the Gendex is earlier in the video. But I don't have one. So she hands it to the checkout guy, and she's 2 ahead of me. So I go up to someone else and I say, oh, this is my flight 239. Oh, I need a Gendex. Oh, I don't have a Gendex. Well, she heard me. Thankfully, she handed it back to the guy. Said, you can use mine. I might not need a Gendex to buy something at duty free because I don't buy duty free that often. So anyway, I got my duty free. Went up to the over to the airplane gate 39. Went down to the flight deck. The FB was already gone. And what did I do? I put myself in the flight deck in the second observer seat and in the above my business class seat. And then the captain mentioned that we only had one business class seat reserved, so that we need two because there's two FB, FC. And normally it's a three-man crew, a three-pilot crew. It's four because I already told you why it's for. So I went back up to the gate to verify that was been done. It had been done because the FB did it. I didn't see him in passing. And then the FB did the walk around again. So he did the walk around in Dallas and Rome. It didn't matter to me. So I made the bunks in Dallas and Rome. Again, it didn't matter to me. I made the bunks. Getting out of Rome, it's always weird. Like they have this weird procedures for getting out clearance and who you call for this. They have so many different radio frequencies we have to call. I think it's just job security, honestly. It seems overly complicated for how kind of small of an airport it is. But fine. Pushed out the gate, taxied over to 16 right. The FO took off. He took off, made a right turn, and the routing back was very unique because of all the turbulence over the ocean right now. So I'm sure I'll show you on the flight, but up over Germany and everything else. Well, I didn't see any of that. The captain wanted to do 2 long breaks again. We did 2 long breaks on the way there. On the way there, we had like 4 hours and 45-minute breaks. On the way back, we had 5 hours and 15-minute long breaks. It's a crazy long break, very long break. So once he made a right turn and we climbed up a bit, the FB, kind of old school, he does all the brake stuff in his head. I use an app. I'm like, you have an app? No, I think I got it. Whatever. He made the brake schedule 5 hours, 15 minutes. And we both went back. And I told him, hey, listen, man, I took the seat on the way here. I'm going to be in the bunk on the way back. And so he went in the bunk as well. I asked him, hey, do you want top or bottom bunk? Almost like we're kids. Because it's their bunk beds, really. He says, Darren, whatever you want. So I'll say the bottom. I've always been a bottom bunk guy. I never shared a bunk yet on a 200. So I got in the bottom bunk, put on my pullover, my Bluetooth earplug in my left ear, so on my right side, and my eye mask on, just so I could block any light when he opened the door. And I slept for a good 2 hours, 45 minutes, easy. Woke up, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm done resting now. So then I woke up and headed out to the seat, and I was in the seat for a good hour and 40-ish minutes as well. I watched some Office episodes and just relaxed. I started drinking my caffeine about an hour prior to my break time being over. When break was over, I went up front, sat in the FO seat again, and this time I'm the flying pilot. We were over Greenland, which was very icy, of course. Northern Greenland, like we were very high north. Pretty good view, and then we got rocked by turbulence for a little while. Not bad, but bad enough to spill coffee, so put seatbelt sign on. Got smoother when we got closer to Canada, and that's where we were. Just turbulence on and off for the rest of the flight. We had about 7 write-ups to do, and again, as a FB or FC relief pilot, we do all the write-ups in the airplane. Normally on a narrow body, the captain does it, but on wide bodies, almost always it's the relief pilot does all the write-ups. So nothing major. We had some broken headsets, lights in the cabin, headset jacks in the cabin. We did have a fluttering windshield wiper that had to be written up as well, but the plane was going to heavy maintenance in Tulsa once we got to Dallas anyway. But yeah, the captain came up first, and the FO came up. I went back to my jump seat, and we made a nice landing on 18 right, got to the gate early, and I am done. I'm not exhausted. Right now it's 3:41 in the afternoon. I have no idea. I put on the screen up at what time it is in Rome. They're 7 hours ahead, so it's 22:41 in Rome. Long day. Happy to go to Rome, not London. And I am off tomorrow for a 30-hour break. And my 30-hour required break ends at 6 a.m. on Monday morning. I go on a wrap at 11 a.m. Monday morning for 3 days. I'm hoping I won't be used because I would like to have some time off, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And I'm going to send it back to Darren for a wrap up of the video. So this
This is the end of the video. You're quite the trooper making it this far. I appreciate your time. I wrap it up very quickly. This was a reserve trip. It was worth 22 hours and 35 minutes. If I was paid as a line holder, it'd be worth 65.77.62. My per diem, I do get 49 hours and 50 minutes. I was away from base. That's 169.42. And then my international pay for the trip was 112.92. Now, that 22 hours and 35 minutes is absorbed into my reserve guarantee. I'm short call reserve. I get paid 76 hours a month, whether I fly or not. Meaning, on reserve this month so far, I've had 2 reserve trips. Total of that is 42 hours and 23 minutes I have flown on reserve thus far. To exceed the guarantee, I have to fly another 34 hours and 37 minutes. So it could happen. I have 6 days of reserve left. We'll have to see. But hope this video was interesting, a little bit long. I appreciate your time. If you want to support me, here are my socials. As always, have a great day, and thank you for stopping by.